Hello everyone, Zelarinth here, and with August coming out this Friday, when it comes to the original CN release banner, we'll have received everyone up through a Akambe on the CN banner. So when it comes to them changing up the banners, it's pretty clear that they're not shaking it up too much. I mean, the only major change they've done at this point is they've swapped Coco and Akambe with Sophia and August. So hopefully we can kind of see them continue that trend. It's very likely that we're going to go with Hansa or Homa next, and then after that person go with the next one, simply because of the way the progression in the story has gone. So with this, I thought it's been about a month since the last time I've kind of looked at pull priorities, so I thought I'd kind of update that list with regards to the current available units as well as the ones coming up here. So if you watched many of my videos, you'll know already right off the bat, one of the big ones that I think pretty much everybody should be trying to pick up as soon as they released will be Tear. And we know, since we're basically at this point with Akambe, we can pretty much say that we probably have at least 2 months until he comes out. Probably more than that, because it's unlikely that they're going to really shift him any more forward than he already is. I could see maybe him coming before Agatha, but just that's about the earliest I could see. So you probably have 2 to 2.5 months until he's releasing. And with the current amount of currency that we're getting, we can probably expect to have around 100 extra pulls at that point if you're completely free to play. Just based on all the content we've been getting, as well as just your daily pulls that you're getting from that, as long as you're hitting everything. So if anyone's kind of watched my prior videos, you already kind of know my thoughts on August, and that he of the tier zeros is probably the easiest of the group to skip. And that's primarily because Homa and Tear are unique in what they are able to give to a team in their support capabilities. And especially at this point in the game, you've probably already started to put together your synergies amongst your teams based on who you currently have, whether it's who you got from like the beginners banners and who your main DPSs at this point are. Everybody at this point has probably got at least one DPS. I think a majority of people probably have threw everything they had at Sophia to get her, as she's a top tier unit, and she's still going to be very good all the way up through currently what CN currently has. So if you've already got one team starting to solidify, at this point you're wanting to think of Tower Adversity is coming in the next few weeks. So you want to get your last remaining units that you can kind of get together to build these two teams that you're going to need for Tower Adversity. And while August is good, he is just a DPS. I mean, you can say the same thing about Hansa, Karis, and Agatha as well. They're just DPSs. They are a dime a dozen. I mean, we have more DP. We have the Raleigh-Wall alt. We have Tristan. We have all these others. Paminal's another semi-DPS breaker, as well as units after them coming out. But Tear and Homa aren't really replaceable in the fact of what they can provide to a team. They're much harder to power creep with what they give. And since you've probably already got your first main team coming together, I would start working on focusing on getting your supports to either bulk them up with Homa and Tear, or you're looking to start solidifying your second team, and getting your supports to kind of fill out that is important as well. So those would be the top priorities there. And then depending on your pulls, because if you've been very, very lucky, like if you're in a situation where I'm in, where I've been fairly lucky and I'm a minor spender, at this point you could still have quite a few pulls. So with my minor spending, I'm still sitting at about 200 pulls. But I buy the monthly pulls that we get in the shop, so that's like an additional 30 plus the monthly pass. So I'm getting about 100 pulls a month. Then if you're at that point, you could probably pull over August, because my current plans and priority is trying to get my second main big team together for Tower Adversity. I've pretty much got the main DPS with Sophia and kind of the area / Akambe team with summons coming together. And then the next big one's going to be the August / breaking team. So getting like August and Homa for that side of things. And then the final finish off the teams, I want to try and get Homa and Tear. But this is coming from the perspective of a spender, where those are the main ones I'm getting. And after I get past that point, once I have August, Homa, Tear, I have basically my two main teams solidified. And then it becomes a lot easier to kind of pick and choose who you want for future units. And it's just kind of, well, you have this unit, but maybe I can make this unit power creeps them, so let's get them. And it gives you a lot more favorability on who you want to pull, even if they're not top tier down the line. Because the big thing is just making sure you're able to get two main teams together that can complete the content. So that's kind of just my thoughts on the pull priors, to kind of give a short recap of it. August is the easiest skip in my opinion of the top units. It's not going to make or break your account, I think, if you go for him and get him. One of the big things you'll see is if you do get August and you already have Sophia, you can shoot for trying to get Homa and Terra because you can always get lucky, but even if you miss them, you'll be fine. And they will come up in dual banners down the line, and they'll be units. Like Terra is definitely a unit. If you aren't able to get him here, I would say on a Destiny banner actually going for him. And then if you have the 2 DPS, a Sephi and a Gus at this point, then you have a lot of leeway when it comes to the future units to skip. Like if we look here at the units even coming after them, you have alternate Raiwa, who's a DPS, Paminov, which is kind of a breaking DPS, Tristan, which is similar to August, except she's a destroyer DPS with similar attacks. Leela's a kind of a support tank, I believe. Not highly rated, high tier. The next really big support unit is the alternate Sophia. So she's one that you're going to want to think about in the same terms of Homa and Terra, and you want to really shoot for her. This year, I haven't really delved too heavily into these kits on these latest units, but I know this one is kind of another a way better version of Cole to a certain extent, I believe. Levita is a very big fire mage that's a breaker as well. She's really, really good, but she is in that capacity, from what I can tell, a DPS. And he's not a tier 0 from what I understand, as well as her. So it's kind of tough on those units, but I think there's more skippable units coming up down the line, simply because now your team should be starting to come together is kind of what I'm getting at there. And so you're pretty much safe to kind of make your decisions at this point. But from a meta perspective, especially for free to play, I would absolutely skip August to try and shoot for Oma and Terra on the priority list. And then when it comes to Hansa, Karis, Shaq, Lulu, and Agatha, as cool some of them are, especially Karis and Agatha, I think they're ones that you just want to skip at this point because of the value of the units between them. But that's just my thoughts. I know other people have their priority lists of who they want, because one thing is you want to play this game for fun, and if you're not going to like a unit, then you don't need to go for them specifically. If you really like, say, Agatha, then you definitely want to go for them and build your team around her, because you can complete the content, and she's really good in the current CN version, so there's no reason not to. So don't think of it that you're not going to be able to complete content if you don't follow my rules of these are the people you want for your meta account. It definitely will be harder if you don't have the best, but it's not going to be impossible. But yeah, that's kind of just my priorities at this point. If you disagree, just go ahead and leave a comment. I am trying to respond to every single one that I get, and I will get to them at some point. It's just been really busy. I know there's a couple there's quite a few that I haven't gotten to yet, but I'm continuing to go through them as I can. And just give your thoughts. Maybe you have different priorities, or you're seeing other types of synergies that you can build around some of the units that are, even though the lower tier, will have quite a view value to you. But yeah, if you like the content, just go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. It's been helping quite a bit. And thanks for watching.